A single wedding photo has convinced thousands of people that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith were somehow connected to Jeffrey Epstein years before the world even knew his name. The image has spread across social media with one shocking claim that the couple got married in front of the infamous temple on Epstein's private island. But when you actually investigate the facts, the story becomes even stranger. Not because the conspiracy is true, but because their real wedding story is almost as unbelievable as the rumor itself. Fall. Here's what happened. Over the past few weeks, an old-looking wedding photo of Will and Jada has been making the rounds online. At first glance, people became convinced that the building behind them looked exactly like the mysterious temple on Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the US, Virgin Islands. Considering everything associated with Epstein, it didn't take long for conspiracy theories to explode. People started asking questions. Why were they there? What does this mean? What aren't we being told? The problem is, the timeline completely falls apart. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith got married on December 31st, 1997. Jeffrey Epstein didn't even own Little St. James Island when they got married, and the temple itself wasn't built until roughly 2009 to 2013, more than a decade after the Smiths exchanged their vows. In other words, the building couldn't have been Epstein's temple. It simply didn't exist yet. That one fact alone destroys the central claim behind the viral photo. Some people believe the image was digitally manipulated. Others argue the architecture merely resembles the temple, and people jump to conclusions. There's even another theory that flips the story completely. Instead of Will and Jada copying Epstein's temple, some internet users believe the island's temple may have been inspired by older Gothic architecture that already existed elsewhere. Whether that's true or not, there's no evidence connecting the Smiths' wedding to Epstein's island. In reality, Will and Jada were married at Cloisters Castle, a Gothic-style mansion just outside Baltimore, Maryland, near Jada's hometown. So as far as the Epstein claim goes, the facts don't support it. And there's another important point. Despite years of speculation online, Will Smith has not been named in verified Epstein flight logs, official court records, or government-released document batches. Many videos and social media posts suggesting otherwise rely on speculation rather than verified evidence. So if the conspiracy doesn't hold up, why has this story captured so much attention? Because the real mystery isn't the wedding location, it's the marriage itself. For nearly 3 decades, Will and Jada have had one of the most unconventional relationships in Hollywood. They've openly discussed living separately. They've spoken about redefining marriage. They've survived public scandals that most celebrity couples never recover from. And somehow, they're still together. That's why every new rumor, every old photo, and every resurfaced interview immediately attracts millions of views. People aren't just trying to solve a mystery about a photograph. They're trying to solve a mystery about the relationship itself. And once you look beyond the conspiracy theory, you discover something far more surprising. Because years after their wedding, Jada revealed something that completely changed how many people viewed that day. Now here's where the story becomes much more complicated. Because while the internet was busy debating a wedding photo, an old interview resurfaced that completely changed the conversation. It wasn't about Jeffrey Epstein. It wasn't about a mysterious temple. It was about the bride herself. Years after marrying Will Smith, Jada admitted something that shocked millions of people. She said she never wanted to get married. Think about that for a second. Imagine finding out that one of Hollywood's longest-lasting marriages began with one person saying they didn't even want the wedding. According to Jada, she was under enormous pressure. She was young. She was 3 months pregnant with Jaden. She was trying to balance her career, her personal life, and the expectations of everyone around her. During an episode of Red Table Talk, she explained exactly how she felt. "I never wanted to be married." She didn't stop there. Jada revealed she was so upset on her wedding day that she cried while walking down the aisle. "I cried the whole way down the aisle." That's not exactly the fairy tale wedding most people imagine. Her mother, Adrienne Banfield Norris, better known to fans as Gammy, later admitted she had strongly pushed the couple to marry because Jada was expecting a baby. She even apologized years later for putting that pressure on her daughter. Looking back, she admitted she had been thinking more about what she wanted than what Jada wanted. Will remembered that day very differently. Laughing during the same conversation, he told their daughter Willow, "We only got married because Gammy was crying." Everyone around the table laughed. But outside that room, people watching at home weren't laughing. For many fans, that interview completely changed the way they viewed Will and Jada's marriage. Suddenly, people started asking whether the relationship had been built on love, or obligation. Of course, not everyone agreed. Despite saying she never wanted a wedding, Jada has also said that she and Will later believed getting married was ultimately the right decision. Over the years, she repeatedly described them as life partners. She once even said she would throw away her career before allowing it to destroy their marriage. That's what makes this relationship so difficult to understand. On one hand, Jada says she never wanted the wedding. On the other, she says staying committed to the marriage became one of the most important decisions of her life. Those two statements sound completely contradictory. Yet somehow, both can be true. Naturally, the internet had plenty to say. One fan wrote, "Get divorced. If you ever loved one another at all, you'd want at the very least a chance for the other to be happy. It's all quite sad." Another person took the discussion even further. They argued that society treats divorce like failure, when in reality, ending an unhappy marriage can sometimes be healthier for everyone involved, including the children. Others weren't convinced Jada had been forced into anything at all. One commenter pointed out that she was an adult, that no one physically forced her to marry Will, and that years later she publicly defended their marriage by calling themselves life partners. And that's exactly why this story continues to divide people. Some see a young woman overwhelmed by pressure and pregnancy. Others see an adult who made a difficult decision and later chose to stand by it. Whatever side you fall on, one thing is undeniable. The real mystery surrounding Will and Jada's wedding isn't a temple on a private island. It's how a marriage that reportedly began with tears, hesitation, and uncertainty managed to survive nearly 3 decades of public scrutiny, separation, scandals, and constant reinvention. And that may be the biggest twist of all. The conspiracy theory about Epstein doesn't survive the facts. But the truth about Will and Jada's marriage may be even more fascinating than the conspiracy itself. At the end of the day, the viral wedding photo tells us something important. Not about Jeffrey Epstein, but about the internet. One image, one assumption, and suddenly millions of people are trying to solve a mystery that falls apart the moment you check the timeline. The facts are actually pretty straightforward. Will and Jada got married on December 31st, 1997, at Cloisters Castle near Baltimore. The temple on Epstein's private island wasn't built until well over a decade later. There is no verified evidence that Will Smith married on Epstein's island, nor has he been named in official Epstein flight logs, court records, or government-released document batches. Those are the facts, but here's what makes this story so interesting. Even after the conspiracy is disproven, people still don't stop talking. Why? Because the real mystery has never been where they got married. It's why they stayed together. Think about everything that's happened. Jada admitted she never wanted the wedding. She cried walking down the aisle. Years later, she revealed they had secretly been separated since 2016. The entanglement became one of the biggest celebrity stories in the world. Will slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. Then, against all expectations, reports said they had quietly reunited and were living together again. That's not a normal Hollywood marriage. It's no surprise people keep searching for hidden explanations. The internet had plenty to say about it. One fan wrote, "Get divorced. If you ever loved one another at all, you'd want at the very least a chance for the other to be happy. It's all quite sad." Another added, "This is why I say divorce is never a bad thing. Society needs to get over the divorce stigma because it's making way too many people miserable." But not everyone agreed. Another fan pointed out that Jada was an adult when she got married, and later defended the relationship herself. They argued that while Jada has spoken openly about not wanting the wedding, she has also repeatedly described Will as her life partner and has publicly said protecting their marriage mattered deeply to her. And that's really where the debate begins. Was their wedding the result of pressure? Or was it simply two young people making a difficult decision that later grew into something much bigger? The truth is, only Will and Jada know. Everything else is interpretation. And maybe that's why conspiracy theories spread so easily. When people don't fully understand a story, they naturally start filling in the blanks. Sometimes with facts, sometimes with speculation, sometimes with theories that sound convincing until someone checks the dates. In this case, the timeline doesn't support the Epstein claim, but it does reveal something else. Will and Jada have built a relationship that almost nobody outside their family fully understands. Every few years, they redefine what their marriage looks like. Every few years, the public thinks it's over. And every few years, they somehow write another chapter. Whether people admire that or completely disagree with it depends on who you ask. But one thing is certain, The biggest mystery surrounding Will and Jada was never a building in the background of an old wedding photograph. It was the marriage itself. A marriage that started with tears, survived scandals, defied public expectations, and continues to divide opinion almost 30 years later. So perhaps the real lesson isn't about chasing every conspiracy that goes viral online. It's about remembering that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, and sometimes the truth is simply that two people chose to build a marriage that the rest of the world may never completely understand.